Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm showing you my mom's recipe for fluffy Chinese steamed pork buns, or Baozi. Stay a while, because I'm sharing my world and beyond, while learning why. These steamed buns are by far probably one of the most well-known and loved foods in Chinese cuisine, next to dumplings. So here's some fresh food folklore for you. The legend of steamed buns. What had happened was that in the Three Kingdom period in China, there were barbarians who used human heads as sacrifices to worship gods. Our protagonist, dear viewer, Chancellor Liang, set out with an army to protect southern China. And on his journey, he and his army needed to cross the Lu River, which had huge rocking waves. The locals told him that in order to cross, he needed to cut off human heads and toss them into the river as a sacrifice. Chancellor Liang was not about this, so instead, he asked the locals and soldiers to use their livestock and make minced meat to be wrapped by dough and steamed. The plan was that these would act as fake heads for the river gods. It worked. But anyways, these steamed buns come from northern China, where lots of pastries and breads come from. And now we have delicious little fluffers. You can put anything you want in these, sweet or vegetarian fillings too. But here is my mom, Mama Chen's recipe. Next step is marinating all of the meat and the vegetables, but first we're gonna season the meat. We minced up some ginger, and we have some rice wine, and any type of oil will do, but we have peanut oil, some soy sauce. Yes, it is in a barefoot wine bottle. Yep. A little bit of salt, and then some sugar, and we're gonna add that all in there. Man, these voiceovers are so fun. Anyways, we actually made the dough beforehand off camera, so sorry about that, but just trust us, we made the dough. Half. And a good tip that I learned growing up was that if you put plastic wrap on a bowl, it makes it easier for cleanup, so then you don't have to have raw meat completely touch the container that you're using. So just mix it up together until it's incorporated, and then you're gonna let that sit for 20 to 30 minutes. And as you see here, I am making a log, a dough log. Then I get a giant butcher knife and I just, slice it up a little bit. Slicey slice, slice, slice. And then they turn into like little pillows. Aww. Alright, so now we shall flatten you. And something very key when you're making meat buns is that you want to flour the surface, but then you want to make sure that the middle is going to be thicker than the rest, so you only kind of roll out just the edges like I'm doing here. So then the center will kind of have like this soft little pillow, and it'll provide structural support for the filling that you put in there. Alright, now we are going to see the Mama Chen's example. She is setting the example for all of my buns to follow. And look at each of those folds. They're intentional, there's precision and skill, and just look at how nicely it's wrapped up. And it's good to leave a tiny little hole so the steam can escape off the top. Alright, now it's my turn. Yeah, just watch me struggle. We're riding the struggle bus here. Apparently the perfect amount of folds is 18, but I don't really have any of those skills, so I'm trying here. As you can see, you kind of just nip and fold and tuck and pause, and yep, just keep on pleating and wrapping, and eventually it'll all get done. Pat, 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 pat. Yes. Just make sure all of the filling is not going to fall out. And, you know, then you got a pretty good bun.
All I need is 21 days and I'm fine. Everyone, I'ma still need more time.
Let the buns sit for 20 to 30 seconds for what we call the second rise. You can actually put them on a steamer or a bamboo steamer. We don't have that, so we actually put ours on a cheesecloth, and we have some water soaked on the bottom, and we have a little grate that sits between the cheesecloth and the bottom of the pan, so none of the buns will be touching the bottom, and then we just steam it that way. And then we put a cover. And then it's really important that after you steam for about 10 to 15 minutes, you let it sit there for another 5, so then the air, because if you lift up the cover right away, it's going to deflate immediately, and you don't want droopy buns. Soy sauce, definitely some Chinese vinegar or black vinegar, a dash of sriracha, and a little bit of black pepper. And now it is time to partake. I don't know why I'm using a knife when I could just use my fingers, but you know, we're trying to be fancy. So here I am taking a bite. Ooh, look at that juicy steamy. And then you do a little dip, and then you take a little bite, and perfection. Best eaten right away when it's warm. And thank you guys.